good. Hello, my Bill 1000 Nation. How's everyone doing today? Hopefully, everyone's having a great day. If not, I hope it gets better from here. All right, we are back with another That Chapter. This one was actually suggested by a viewer. And if I'm not mistaken, they said it kind of tears them up just to watch it, so I'm a little nervous. But if we get traumatized, it's not my fault this time. Yes. All right, this one is titled The Sinister Case of Sasha Krause. I didn't say you spelled that, pronounce that last name, Krause. Yeah. I have no clue. All right. I'm excited to get into this story because, like I said, if it traumatizes us all, it's not my fault this time. No. All right. Let's go ahead and get into this story. Go ahead, turn them lights down low, put on something comfy, cuddle up with someone special. Let's get traumatized. I have a feeling this is going to be traumatic. Oh, shit. Yeah. Damn.
Hey you, and welcome. My name is Mike, and in this old video, what we are going to do is examine a disappearance in New Mexico, and one fella's long-held, kind of bizarre, I wouldn't say little grudge, big grudge. His tiny face getting red with anger. That was at something which haunted him since he was a baby boy. In 2020, two people crashed into each other, one rejecting what they had been taught as a young'un, and the other embraced it. This would take them 300 miles away to a remote part of Flagstaff, Arizona. And you can guess which side kind of won out at the end, leaving a mess for the others to find. But of course, that's not the real end. We got the body cams, we got the interviews, we got the whole, kit and caboodle, so let's give it a go. Gull. Ugh.
We have the body counts? And the interviews? What did you get me into? Oh fuck, why is there a body count? Why is there a body count? Why? Can someone explain that to me? Oh shit. Okay, yep. We'll worry about it when we get there.
The city of Farmington, New Mexico lies right at the tippity left from the aliens' point of view of that state. It is surrounded by Navajo land and has some very stunning scenery. Look, rocks. Gas.
Skinwalkers.
A little less than 50,000 people live there, and it looks like a beautiful little city. Though you didn't come here for the geography lesson, did you? One thing though that's super interesting is that in the year 1950, half the city saw UFOs flying around the air above the city. That's nuts. That's crazy. That's cuckoo pants. Feckin' aliens at it again. So keeping with the unsolved bizarre mystery, if you want to call it that, and I sure do, let's look at another one. Though it was only...
I mean, is it really that hard to believe that there's something other than us in this universe? Or any universe? And I'm not saying they gotta be shit you see on TV, like E.T. and stuff like that, and the Greys and all that other shit. But even organisms is another form of life that's out there. I'm sure there's mold growing somewhere. It's a form of life. How's that mold gonna build a spaceship and come to Earth and take people over? Maybe. But I do not believe that we are alone in this universe, in any way, shape, or form. Do I think that they are humans like us? No. Do I think they have superpowers? I mean, compared to the stuff we can do, I guess maybe. But to them, it's just everyday life. You know what I mean? That's just my belief. I just don't think we're alone. It's like being in the woods. You're never alone. Just because you don't see it, hear it, smell it, taste it, don't mean it ain't fucking there.
only unsolved for a month. It begins with Sasha Krause.
Is this where the bodies start?
Sasha was born in April 1992 in Temple, Texas, to parents Robert and Laura. She grew up with many brothers and sisters, Amanda, Megan, Emma, Robert, Evelyn, and Sarah, and when she was at the tender age of 11, her family...
Are they Amish? Is that what it's called? Amish Mennonite? What? What's with the bottoms?
joined the
Handmaiden's Tale?
Mennonite Church.
Mennonite.
Now, I don't know.
Mennonite. They are like the Amish, but they believe in electricity and stuff like that, right? Right? Mennonites? They can still drive cars and all that other good stuff. Like, where the Amish is just like old school. You want to call someone, you pick up a board and you throw it at your neighbor, like, hey, what up? That's Mennonites, right? Like they're like Amish, but they drive cars and have phones and TVs and actual like houses and stuff like that, not things that they have to build or make themselves. Right? Right? Right.
Don't jack shit about the Mennonites. Though apparently they're not supposed to use the clackety computers, or at least many of them choose not to. So therefore, I can kind of just make up whatever shit I want and they won't correct me. Though of course I won't do that. Wink wink. To quote a Facebook page, really, we are a body of born-again Christians who love God and seek to follow Jesus. Great, well that narrows your religion down. They wear a lot of, the old-fashioned get-up, modesty and all that, not really into modern stuff and entertainment, I understand. Genuinely good for them on that front. They make a lot of their own stuff, they are pacifists, and they also ride around on golden retrievers and use their milk for sustenance. Only one of those things I said is false, I'll leave it up to you to find out which. Okay, so I usually try and avoid the whole religious angle when I'm telling stories because it's a whole nest.
I believe it's the milking the golden retrievers for sustenance. Sustenance. I hope they don't do that. Oh, for the love of God. Okay, maybe I was wrong about Mennonites. I thought Mennonites were like the Amish, just a little bit more technological advanced. I don't know. I don't know much about them. I need to. I need to learn things. Yeah. So much to learn, so little time. There's really not. There's plenty of time. I just find other things to do. I mean, I'm not even gonna lie about it. I procrastinate. Yeah.
Of vipers with robes on. So let's move on. Sasha, she was one of them. She had the little hat on. She was a school teacher. She spoke English, French, and Spanish, and she also wrote songs and hymns. And in 2018, she
Smart motherfucker. Speaking like 3 languages.
moved from the Mennonite community in Grandview, Texas, to the one in Farmington, New Mexico. She began working at Lamp and Light Publishers, who specialized in hardcore pornography. No, there's Bible stuff. Though the book does have some smut in it.
Specializing in hardcore pornography. No, that's Bible stuff. Yeah, fuck. We're all going to hell now. Fuck, Mike. Why would you do this? Why?
So now let's talk January 18th, 2020. And that was 27-year-old Sasha's last day.
Oh shit.
That day was a fairly regular one for her. She had some shopping to do, a few bits here, a few bobs there, and then in the evening she had dinner with her fellow Mennonites at the compound.
They live at compound?
At roughly 7:30 p.m. she chowed down, and then she popped into her car and she drove to the church. She had to pick up some books as she had a Sunday service, the following morning. Now this was like a 1-minute drive. Like they were all in the same. Like you could practically see the church from where she had food. Like it's a little area. Okay, maybe there were some small hills in the way, but the reason she drove over there rather than just simply walking was because she had to pick up books. She hadn't even taken her purse, she hadn't even taken her jacket, but she didn't come back. No one knew what happened to her. No one saw, anything.
That's fucking weird.
When they went to the church, her car was there, but there was no sign of Sasha, nor any sign of anything. It was like one of those UFOs from 70 years ago had. On the 18th of January, you know, the cold winter morning, like still in the wee hours I'm talking, Sasha was reported missing to the police.
He kills me.
911, what's the address of the emergency?
It's on the Lantern Lake compound, and what it is a missing person. Her name is Sasha Krause.
So when did we notice that she didn't come back?
She left here to go down to the church to grab some Sunday school quarterlies. If we have church services up in Colorado.
So she's supposed to go up there tomorrow.
Right, she was supposed to go up there in the morning, but she never returned.
Are there some books missing?
So books are missing. So she probably made it that far.
Yeah.
So I just like to ask this question: Has she ever had any background of drug use, alcohol use?
Disappearing at all?
Right.
Not that I know.
Of all the girls that live here, she's probably the most stable. She's very, very sensible.
When the detectives arrived,
I hate that they always go to the, is there any drug use, alcohol use? That's just dip. I hate that, but I mean, I get it, I understand, I know it's routine. I just hate that they have to go there all the time. Someone got disappeared because of drugs or alcohol. I mean, at least 5 out of 10 times, yeah, that's probably the case. But not always. It don't have to be drugs and alcohol every time you turn around. I mean, come on now, people.
they immediately examined the scene, finding jack shit. No items thrown around or left behind, no scuff marks in the dirt from a struggle. The church, nothing there either. The only thing that was kinda odd was in Sasha's car. The keys were between the passenger seat and the door, kind of an odd place to find them. So she was gone, and there was no indication she had been planning, to go anywhere. As I said, she had left all her stuff behind, and she said she would be right back. So it's her running off when her car was still there was not an option. Foul play was quickly kind of, came into focus. The police, they then tried to track her cell phone, and it indicated that she had left Farmington and gone to the Four Corners area where Colorado, Utah, Arizona, and New Mexico meet. And then after that, her phone was switched off, and they had no idea where she'd gone. She'd gone west, and then she had gone dark.
But why would the keys be between the passenger seat and the door? Why? Why? How? I mean, I have a few good ideas, like, something was happening. She was, like, either putting her keys in or taking her keys out, and someone, like, reached through the door and, like, hit her or, like, went like that, and she flung and then came back. When she did, the keys might just went out of her hand. Or someone reached in, just grabbed, snatched them, and threw them. That way she couldn't still try to start her car and make an escape somehow. Because, I mean, if it's one of those cars with the power windows, you gotta have your key in to roll up the window. You can't roll it up without the key. Throw that key, that window's down. No one's gonna be able to stop you from doing shit. I don't like power windows.
Searches were mounted in the surrounding countryside. Police, dogs, whirlybirds, the whole 9 yards.
In Farmington is missing, and the close-knit community is coming together asking for help finding her.
27-year-old Sasha Krause stopped by the church Saturday night to prepare for a class she was teaching. Her car was found nearby, but she hasn't been seen since.
There were some witnesses who reported a white SUV leaving the area around the time she vanished, but nothing concrete. And as these search parties continued, well, they would be to no avail. $50,000 was offered for information. Then, after all that, over a month later, a call came in. This call was, almost 300 miles from Farmington, New Mexico. It was coming from the Flagstaff, Arizona area. A woman's body had been discovered near the Sunset Crater Volcano National Park, which is essentially an area where thousands of years ago the Earth just shot out a bunch of lava. It's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
Possible 901 man down on Forest Road 244. I'll be out at the Sunset 103. I'm out with that reporting party. She is stating a possible 901 near her campsite.
On the 21st of February 2020, a call came in from that park. Some hikers had found something.
If you're willing, if you're just willing to write a statement for me of what you saw,
of course,
and how this happened.
What I'll probably do, I think, is I'm gonna go down to Sedona after this and see my friend.
Okay.
Because I don't want to be alone.
They had found her. She was lying face down, her hands bound with tape.
Those are finger tracks right here.
Okay. And that's how you found her, or?
We didn't move her, nothing. She was real stiff, cold.
Single female, she's laying face down.
Due to how she was dressed, it didn't take long to cross-check with missing persons reports and identify whom they had found. But who had done this? Who had taken her all this distance and then murdered her? Whom knows? She had no defensive wounds. It didn't seem like she resisted, whatever happened. She was a Mennonite, though. They're pretty peaceful folk, but you would think that, instinct would just kind of kick in and you might start kicking and screaming. It didn't seem like that at all. It seemed like, what we guess happened is that she went to the church, someone kidnapped her, she didn't try and fight back. Again, what you think your natural reaction would be to just even get the elbows out. She had nothing on her hands, no defensive marks at all. It's almost like she went along willingly with whatever happened.
I know
Sasha,
they're passive aggressive, but I agree with him. You get that fight or flight instinct. I don't care who you are, whether you're passive or not. If someone's taking you, you're going to struggle at least a little bit, right? So does she know them? Does she? Fuck.
Blunt force trauma to the head, her skull had been fractured, and she had been shot in the back of the head with a rifle. She had been dead for some time. The scene? Well, then there wasn't much to go on other than Sasha's body. There's no clues, no evidence, nothing, in the surrounding area at all.
Her case has sparked fear within the Mennonite and Farmington community.
Although we do not personally have a lack of forgiveness toward that person, we know that somewhere a killer is running under the scorching wrath of God. And we just want them to do the right thing and so that they can find his forgiveness.
In Farmington, Rachel Knapp.
I can never be a Mennonite because I'd be on there like, fuck that motherfucker. I'm going to find him. I'm going to rip his dick off and I'm going to beat him with it. And then whenever I know what I'm going to rip my dick off and beat him with it. I can never be I could not be a pacifist. I run my mouth too damn much. Like, I will hunt you down. I will find you. I will bite your face until you die. Yep. Can't be a pacifist. It's not in me. It's not.
RQE News 13.
So what did the investigation do to get, the ball rolling? Well, they actually did something pretty smart. See, Sasha and her phone it was flagged at Farmington and then Four Corners, and then her phone went dark, and then her body was found near Flagstaff.
So went from here to here. And then down to here. So is this here 4 hours away from Farmington? 4 hours away from this point, which is, pretty close to the Four Corners. Because, I mean, it looks like she went a pretty good distance from there to there. And then... Like, why did she even go here to begin with? That's what I need to know. There's so many questions.
So what the police then did was what's called a cell tower dump. So they got the cell phone towers at Farmington, at Four Corners, and at Sunset Volcano to shit out all of the cell phones that had pinged at each within a certain time frame. Whose phone pinged here, here, and here. They then cross-checked all the numbers that had pinged those...
That's fucking smart. I didn't know you could do that. Holy shit. Turn my cell phone off everywhere I go from here on out. I don't trust that. And I don't mean it like I'm going to kill someone. I just mean it as one day I'm going to go like to Kroger's, then I'm going to go to Walmart, and then I'm going to go Dollar General, and then I'm going to go home. And just so happens like someone's going to get kidnapped at Walmart. You see where I'm going with this? And then they're going to be like, oh, Bill 5000 was there. Get him. Like, look, bro, all I did at Kroger's is, like, get my just eggs, man. Like, I don't know who the fuck that is. Kroger's is the only place around here that sells it, man. What'd you go to Walmart for? Bagels. They're cheaper at Walmart. What was at Dollar General? I had to pick up some poo paper because after I eat the eggs and the bagels, I'm going to have to use the bathroom. Dollar General's having a sale. No, I didn't know. No, I don't like that.
Tree,
I mean, that's cool, though, for when that is... no.
Cell towers within, that time frame, and it came up with one number. That was the gooches. The gooch is, the part of the skin between your... and your... and that was him.
The tank between the balls and the asshole. Yeah. That was the gooch.
Mark Gooch was his name, and...
Hey, he looks like a piece of skin between the balls and the asshole.
Being an Air Force mechanic was his game. He was 21 years old, stationed at the Luke Air Force Base in Phoenix, Arizona, almost 3 hours to the south of Sunset Crater. He had no criminal history at all, speeding tickets being about the height of his interactions with law enforcement. He had been raised in Wisconsin in a dun-dun Mennonite family. Something he would say was, very hard on him growing up. They were difficult, they were restrictive, and so, when he got old enough, that's when he ran away and to join the Air Force. As a kid, though, he was kind of up to no good. He was a bit of a troublemaker, vandalism, burglary, thievery, kind of rebelling against, I guess, his religion, which was quite strict at the time. So he left, but he kept his
the machine.
Hatred pretty strong for it, to a overreactive degree, I would say, maybe. Police went to the base and they questioned Mark.
Alright, so I always ask people this when I start an interview. What are you thinking right now? Do you have any idea as to why a detective with the sheriff's office would want to speak with you?
Only thing I can think of is maybe I'll drive too fast and I'm like,
Okay.
it's what I'm thinking of.
In that last 6 months, have you traveled out of state anywhere?
Yes, man, when I came down here, like, Wisconsin.
Oh, okay. So you drove from Wisconsin to
Correct.
anywhere else?
Pretty much all. State Arizona.
I'll play you a bit now. The audio's not great. I did my best when I was editing this together. But just remember, the police will rarely ask a question they do not already know the answer to.
And I am working a homicide investigation. There was a girl named Sasha Krause. That was the deal. Did you hear about that news? So here's the deal. So your vehicle was picked up on that license plate reader in the general area. That was the deal. And
Bless me. Sorry. Alright, watch his face.
I am working a homicide investigation.
Right then and there. Start moving his jaw and playing with his teeth and stuff. He's nervous. He is visibly nervous. He was straight faced until she said homicide investigation. Now he is nervous.
Sasha Krause, that was the deal. Did you hear about that news? So here's the deal. So your vehicle was picked up on that license plate reader.
Eyes are twitching back and forth.
On the same day actually that she.
Yeah, he looks nervous as shit. Like he keeps moving his mouth, rubbing his teeth with his tongue. Rubbing his teeth with his tongue. There we go. His eyes are shifting back and forth real fast, like, and he looks physically tenser.
So what I'm doing at this point is I gotta talk to everybody, as you can imagine. It's my job. Anybody who's in the area, anybody who could have seen something. I'm hoping really that maybe you have something that can help me. I don't know if you saw anything. You're Mennonite, or you're from Mennonite, and Sasha was too. Did you know her or anything about the case?
No, ma'am.
So why were you in New Mexico that day?
I was planning on going, so I was checking out the churches. I had traveled up to Flagstaff. I was hoping that ski resort was still open.
Yeah.
They were closed due to coronavirus starting up. So I figured I'd go check out a Mennonite church up in the area.
So you're checking out Mennonite churches. Is there any reason why you didn't tell me when I asked you if you've traveled? You didn't mention that to me.
I'm sorry, my memory just.
So, about how long do you think you were in the area of the church?
I checked to see what time of service, Saturday services.
So back to why I'm here, though. Obviously, something terrible happened that day, and you happened to be there. Did you see anybody or see anything that could help me in my case?
Nothing really stood out to me. Very.
Did you see any women walking around that day? No. Church is usually Sunday, right? Like a meal. And you drove in on a Saturday, and you had heard about the Sasha Krause case. It's on the news. What did you think about that when you saw that?
It was shocking. I wish I had seen something.
Some of the questions I ask you today, I might know the answer to already. And so what I ask from you is just to be honest with me. Okay. Some of the timelines are not really adding up. As long as you're not lying to me, then we don't have issues. I'm just going to ask you straight. Were you involved with Sasha Krause's homicide? Did you abduct Sasha Krause? Did you know somebody? Did you know anything about her? Did you kill Sasha Krause?
That's a good question. These routine questions you normally ask everybody.
Yeah, I'll explain why I'm asking you these direct questions. There definitely are some inconsistencies that I've seen, from your story to what I already know.
Mark was charged with the kidnapping and murder of Sasha Krause. On the 18th of January, the day Sasha was taken, CCTV showed Mark leaving Luke Air Force Base that morning. Then, 7 hours later, his phone...
Yeah, he was looking shifty. He kept kind of shifting in his seat. He started getting really nervous. And then towards the end, he was getting defensive about her questioning. He kept shifting his eyes, moving his mouth around. He displayed like almost every trait of someone who is full of shit. He really should just be like, yep, it was fucking me. I did it. Fuck it. That's the way you put them in front of a mirror. That way they can see themselves. It's like, do you look innocent? No. You sitting there looking shifty as fuck, bud.
Pinged just outside a lamp and light where Sasha was. Seems he'd been watching for quite some time, like a little stalker or something. Then, at almost 9 PM, his phone pinged again near Four Corners, as did Sasha's. Then at 1 AM, it pinged Sunset Crater. He then arrived back at the Air Force Base the very next morning. He went to Sunset Crater then 2 days later to check on his handiwork, to make sure she hadn't been found yet, to take a trophy. Who knows what he had done, but he had gone back there, and I can only think of one reason he would go back there. A search of his car revealed binoculars, gloves, and a receipt detailing his car for the 23rd of February. Yeah, he had his car detailed on the 23rd of February. The funny thing about that date is it is the day after the police publicly announced they had found Sasha Krause. So he was probably thinking, well, shit, better just, cover my bases here. She had been in my car and I'd kidnapped her. Her shit's gonna be everywhere. Well, not anymore. He also had a few purchases on his credit card, so they could link him to Farmington fairly well. What they couldn't link him to, though, was Sasha herself. It never seems like Mark Gooch and Sasha Krause ever interacted, ever at all. The only thing linking them was that they shared, or had shared, the same religion, the same upbringing, whatever. But it seemed that from, going through Mark's phone and texts he shared with his two brothers, they all of them shared a really deep, strong hatred for Mennonites, for what they had been brought up in. Something that burned brightly even years later after they had long left. They would routinely text each other talking shit about them.
But why? I mean, I imagine it would be hard being a kid growing up in a religion, a community, a way of life to where everything you have got to work for. Nothing you have is just handed to you. You don't get to have the Nike, the K-Swiss, the Reebok. You don't get to have the PS3, the PS5, Game Boys even. I mean, I can imagine the difficulty of that, and I can imagine the difficulty of being a child and having to work your ass off every day. I get that, but why would you have such a burning hatred? I don't understand that. Even in the Amish, you have like a month or something like that where you get to live life like, like other people do. You get to use technology and stuff like that, and it's actually your choice whether you come back or not. You come back, you give up all those urges, all those needs, all those feelings of I need to be out there to be a citizen of the Amish community again. I forget what it's called right offhand. It's like on the tip of my tongue type situations, but I do believe it's like 30 days. Like a month. So it's something like that. But you also get to choose if you come back or not. If you don't want to come back, you just don't come back. You live your life the way you want. And it sounds to me like, they kind of do the same thing. It's not like, oh no, I'm going to stop being a Mennonite. So now I'm probably going to be hunted down and executed by like Mennonite guard of some sort. It don't sound nothing like that. You know what I mean? So why have such a disdain, such a hatred for it? It makes no sense to me.
Here's some texts. For example, Mark's brother Jacob Gooch would go on to become a...
Just give a Mennonite a ticket. Fuck yes. I hope you treated him like shit. I coughed on him so he would spread corona to the wedding they were going to. LOL. That's fucked.
Virginia State Trooper. In one text exchange...
Haha, that's fucking hilarious.
He told how he pulled over a Mennonite to give them a traffic ticket. Jacob then said he coughed on the driver of this car, hoping he would give them COVID. Wow, look at you. You're a cunt. Mark had been watching Mennonites for some...
Even this morning, surveillance was boring. Bunch of old people without much left to live for, and clearly not the Mennonite people we grew up with.
Time, surveilling them, he would say in text messages. Then, when he saw Sasha going somewhere by herself, he followed, and he took her. and he took all his anger out on her. He drove her to Arizona, he beat her, and then he shot her in the back of the head. Then he deleted his Google history. I'm guessing he thought if he deleted his Google, location services would be erased, which I guess it would be. But it wouldn't erase his phone cell tower data, which is completely separate to Google. But he's a dumb shit, so. Then, after word spread that Mark had been arrested and charged with murder, the police got a phone call from one of Mark's friends saying, hey, listen, a while ago Mark gave me a rifle. Don't really want it. Maybe police, you should take it. Don't know what this rifle has been used for. Police would say, all right. They would go out, they would check that weapon and find it matched the bullet found inside Sasha's body. So now they had the murder weapon. But then something else happened, which is Mark in jail. He called, all jailhouse calls are recorded. So Mark, he called his brother and was like, hey, listen, bro, I left a weapon with a friend of mine. Would you mind going there, grabbing it, and maybe destroying it? Because Mark didn't know that the police had already located it, because that friend had called them. So Mark's brother went to this friend's house. He was like, here, listen, give me the goods. And the police then swiftly arrested him for attempting to destroy and tamper with evidence. He swiftly agreed to testify against his brother in exchange for the charge going bye-bye. The trial began in September 2021.
So much for loyalty, bruh. You little bitch. Snitches get stitches, bruh.
Mark pleading not guilty. The prosecution, well, they had kind of everything I just went through.
The defendant got into his car, a VW Jetta, and he drove north up the I-17 past Flagstaff and then turned towards the east, toward New Mexico. Eventually,
I like this dude's style. Yeah, I do.
he arrived in the town of Farmington, New Mexico. Now, this was a Saturday. It was the defendant's day off, and yet he chose that day to drive 7 hours to an obscure community on the eastern edge of Farmington, New Mexico, the place where Sasha lived, the Lampin-like community. Now, there's no indication the defendant knew anybody at that community. Nobody at that community knew the defendant, and yet he spent roughly 4 hours in that area. It's unclear exactly what he was doing that entire time. He never introduced himself to anyone in that community. Nobody even knew he was there. And what happened when Sasha got to the church is not entirely clear. But what will be clear is that the defendant was there, that he abducted Sasha, put her in his car, and then drove hours away to the area of the Sunset Crater National Monument.
The defense, though, they said it was all bullshit. The forensic evidence didn't match up. The bullet, it could be debated whether or not it was from the discovered murder weapon. The motive was thin at best, which I do agree with, by the way, but let's come back to that.
In the reasonable doubt instruction, there's language that talks about things that we know with absolute certainty. And what we can say to you with absolute certainty is that the death of Sasha Krause was tragic. That's absolutely certain. And that's never forgotten here. The only thing worse than not finding and bringing to justice Sasha Krause's killer would be to accuse and convict the wrong person. That'd be called a miscarriage of justice. The bottom line is that the state has really no motive whatsoever to try to suggest that a peaceful, nonviolent person who didn't...
A peaceful, nonviolent person talking about how much they hate Mennonites. Recorded on the phone saying, hey bro, I need you to get rid of this gun. The friend being like, hey y'all, there's a gun here, come get it. And the brother basically writing on old dude, like, oh yeah, he's an upstanding citizen, let me fucking tell you what. Bruh.
No, this individual would have had any reason whatsoever to abduct, let alone harm. And they tell you about evidence that they have that is twofold. One is a text message between Mark and his brother, where he talks about looking at some people at a church. And the context is what the state is trying to suggest supports their position. But we'll carefully analyze that, and I think you can come to a different conclusion.
At the end, Mark was found guilty of all charges.
Mr. Gooch, is there anything you want to say on your own behalf today before sentence is pronounced?
You fucking tank. What? Let's hear what shit you spouting out your asshole now, bud.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Firstly, I'd like to express my sincere condolences to the deceased family.
I hate when they do that. I don't want your fucking condolences. I want you dead, bro. Save your words for someone who gives a fuck. Would not pay for me to be a pacifist. I'd beat him down with that microphone right there. That microphone, I'd just start beating the shit out of him with it. I'd run over there and drown him in that Clorox wipe thing right here. Because, you know, there's always that little bit of juice in the bottom of it. You're gonna die, bitch. Then I beat him with this thermos. And then that gavel. And then this dude's hair. No. Fuck you, bud. Keep your apology to yourself. Tell God you're sorry. Don't tell me you're sorry. No one pay. Would not pay. No. Let me be their parents. I would bitch slap them.
I'd also like to express my thankfulness for the love and support of my own family in this difficult.
You do not have the love and support of your family, bud. Your brother ratted on you. It was that fool right there. Yeah, he called me. He was like, bruh, they about ready to get me. You need to go get that gun, homie. Like, it ain't gonna look pretty if you don't. Alright, I got you. I'll go get that gun. Hey man, I need that gun. Freeze! Fuck. Look, my brother told me to do it. I guarantee you. He didn't even wait a millisecond to give you up, bud. Didn't even wait a millisecond. I wouldn't have. You're a piece of shit.
Situation. Thank you.
This case, I've thought long and hard about it, and I think this case is truly the most senseless case I have ever presided over. I have thought, since the defendant was found guilty by the jury, why he would have committed this crime, this horrific abduction and murder of an innocent person. That he didn't, I mean, even if he knew the person, it wouldn't be justified, but the fact that he didn't even know her is also so very senseless and really mind-boggling. It's just to wrap your head around what occurred in this case, it just makes no sense. Why one human being would do this to another human being.
Mark Gooch was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole.
Fucking up you right in there, you son of a bitch. Fuck you, bud. Oh my god. I wanted to cry. Oh. I hope you are tumbleweeds out your butt, cause it is so. Whew. I hope every time you fart, it smells like Vaseline, bruh. I hope every time you take a duty, it sounds like a subway car going through the fucking tunnel. Little bitch. Oh, I don't even know you, but I hate you. You're shit.
He also got 5 years for kidnapping.
Hell yeah, life plus 5. I love it.
Well, that sounds as delightful as a hot sauce enema. But this case...
What kind of hot sauce, first and foremost?
To bring it back around does not make sense to me at all. The
No.
Gooch, he was driving hours and hours and hours to communities all around the area, to these Mennonite communities. I mean, like Farmington, from where he was based at Luke Air Force Base, was a 7-hour drive. Like, fucking hell, he must be pretty determined, you know, to go there to surveil and hope you're gonna get lucky and find someone. But that's even less mattering to me than why. I feel like we're not getting the full story here from Mark, and his childhood growing up in that community. Like, maybe something worse must have happened to make him hold on to this for so many years, to the point where he would brutally kidnap and murder an innocent woman simply because she was a member of that community, and he was trying to, like, he was surveilling them. He was going to do it to somebody. Unfortunately, it was Sasha. Like, your childhood just being difficult and restrictive, that's... most of the world will be driven to kill then, if that's, you know, what...
100% agree, Mike. 100% agree. Like, just because you had a shitty childhood does not mean you need to grow up and kill someone or take somebody else's life. No. Nothing gives. No. That's stupid. Why are you going to take it out on a stranger? Just want to rip off my face and just throw it right now.
Caused him to do it.
There's something there. And you can't, is it just something you don't want to talk about? Something that happened that made you, I guess, leave the church?
There must have been some serious trauma that's never been uncovered, you know, that's never been delved into about what happened to him that would drive him to this. I mean, let me know your thoughts, as always. But at the end of the day, I don't really give a shit, because of what he did to, you know, this lovely innocent woman, because he is a fucking gooch. Hey guys, Future Mike here, just popping in to say hello. Hello. And to let you know of a few small changes that are coming for that chapter, what I like to call the next chapter of that chapter. Namely, from next week, that chapter will be a 1 video a week sort of dealio. Now, I hear you're barking, big dog, I know, but it's for good reason. Really, really good reason, which I'll get into now. It really means I'll be able to spend a lot more time on videos, so in the future expect longer, bigger, better content to come from me to you. Don't worry guys, I'm not going anywhere. I just want to spend a little bit more time per video. I don't know if many of you guys know that chapter is pretty much just me. I sometimes get help on research, but I don't have any help doing anything else. So, that chapter...
That is difficult. That is difficult. I'm a reaction channel, so I don't have a whole lot of editing I have to do. In fact, I have no editing I have got to do. Like, I got rendering, and I got put into a format that I can upload to YouTube, and I throw in my intro. Sometimes I have to take out copywritten music and shit like that, but I really don't have to deal with a whole lot. I spend more time watching the video to find the thumbnail I want than I do editing. I like doing thumbnails though. I don't know why. I do. I enjoy doing my thumbnails. They're easy, they're simple, but I enjoy doing them. I learn something new every time I do a thumbnail. Like, oh, I didn't know I could do this. And then I just play around with that for like 4 or 5 videos, and then I get tired of that, and then I learn something new. It's like, oh, I could do that. But yeah. Man, I have a really bad habit of like pausing at the worst time for people's faces. Oh. Oh man. That one. I don't give a fuck what his excuse is. It don't give you the right to take a perfectly good stranger's life. Like, this girl sounded amazing. Loved the church, loved other people. She was a teacher. She spoke, what, 3 languages? Spanish, English, and French, right? That's bullshit. That is straight bullshit. I don't give a fuck what his excuse is. I hope he's in there getting his butthole reamed out by Mennonite Bubba. It could not pay me to be a Mennonite. It could not pay me to be a pacifist because, like, I want to stab him in the face with a spoon. That way I know I can do it a lot. Or a toothpick. Oh. Yeah, and I agree with Mike 1%. Dude's a fucking gooch. Man, no, he ain't even good enough to be a gooch. He's like the little balls of pooey toilet paper that gets stuck in your butt hairs. That he's that level. He's like dingleberries on the dog's ass. Oh man, Mike, you never fell, bud. That one, my dude. I love watching Mike. Like he cracks me up just enough to where it's not completely mentally traumatizing. Because I mean, sometimes you can only handle so much bad, and then it's just like I can't handle no more, and my brain's gonna fizzle. But he throws the funny in there just at the right times to keep your brain from. All right. If y'all enjoyed today's video as much as I enjoyed today's video, please leave a thumbs up. If you're a fan of the spooky, scary, strange, deranged things that just make you want to cry and beat people up with their own penises, think about subscribing. I guarantee you, you'll at least want to rip off one peen a day and hit somebody with it. As always, have a great night. As always, have a good one. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye. No, that's not what I said. As always, be good to one another. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye. This video is gonna be fucked up. Like, I'm gonna have to go and watch, like, something extremely funny just to get this out of my brain. Like, I don't even know, like, we've watched some really fucked up stuff on this channel, like, but that one really kind of got to me. The fact that she was just an innocent person, like, sounded sweet as pie. And this piece of trash just came in there and ended her life just because he had a grudge against his own church for God only knows fucking what. You know what I mean? Got me all kinds of fucked up. I hope he gets every night.